hosted by Mike, the Big Cheese.
All right, welcome back to the Heavy Metal Mayhem Radio Show. It is the 10th of August. I can't believe we're only about a month away from the 70th year anniversary show. 17 years gone by in the blink of an eye. Oh my God, where has time gone? But right there, Overlord. I love this album. From Awaken the Fury, Battle at Marathon. It was only a 20-year wait between Return of the Snow Giant till now, but they came back with a solid record, and hopefully we won't have to wait 20 more years to get a follow-up. George, the new lead singer of the band, well known in the scene, absolutely kills it on this record. So I'm looking forward to a second album from the band. Well, not really a second record, but a follow-up to this one, which is 20 years in the making. But there you go. But hey, we got a great show for everybody tonight. My good friend Jeff McCormack from Reign of Glory is on tonight's show. David Reece from Bangalore Choir. Does it get any better than this in the world of heavy metal? Two great guests on here tonight. We'll be talking to Jeff in about 25 minutes or so, and then we'll get to David in the second half of the program. How about we keep the music going here? How about a little Sleepy Hollow? Winners take all.
Blitzkrieg, take one.
Victims screaming.
right, we got the ball rolling there with Sleepy Hollow and Winners Take All. Followed it up with Odin, Don't Take No for an Answer. And right there, my boy, my buddy, the guy who kind of got this whole thing started almost 17 years ago, Tommy's band Tempest from Brooklyn with Blitzkrieg. That comes off their first demo tape. They actually redid it on their second demo. It was a much better quality, and I think that came off their second tape. The first one was Bang It Out. And, Tommy found Blog Talk Radio 17, almost 18 years ago, and, he came up with a show called Metalheads United. Did one episode and then kind of didn't want to wake up on a Sunday afternoon to do the show anymore. So I kind of started it from there and changed the name, and that's how the Heavy Metal Mayhem Radio Show came about. But I met Tommy. God, it had to be 1983, 1984, I want to say. Tommy was 7 years older than me. And me and my friend Eddie were running around the streets. We just came out of Lemoore. We were drunk, running all over the streets of Bay Ridge, and we ran in front of this guy's car, and he almost hit us. And when he got out, it was Tommy. When he saw that we were metalheads, instead of yelling at us, he gave us passes to come see his band Tempest play that weekend at Lemoore. And, being like, I guess we were 16 years old at the time, going on 17, that end of that year. And, we still couldn't get into Lemoore because it was like, 18 and over back then. We'd go every week with fake IDs, and most of the time it would work. Sometimes they would reject us, and we'd have to try again and wait for maybe a different bouncer to come to the door or something. When you had a pass to get in there, they figured the band knew you and they didn't bother you. So we were so thrilled not to have to worry that week. And we went and saw Tempest and just fell in love with them. And I became such a fan of that band that I did everything I could to promote it back then. And I remember I gave Tommy my phone number. This was before we had cell phones, just house phones. And he called me one night and said, "You want to go hang out?" I said, "Yeah, definitely." He didn't realize we were like 16 years old. So he took us to a bar in Bay Ridge. And I remember walking through the door like, we're not going to get into this place. I mean, we're freaking 16 years old, And because we were with him and all those guys in his band who were much older than us, they got us in. And we became great friends from that day on. And my God, 40 something years later, we're still best friends. So I absolutely love it. All right, how about let me see what time is it. We got about 10 minutes before we talk to Jeff. So, you know what we'll do? This was a band called The Vol that he was in. I'm going to play a track off the demo. I believe this was re-released not long ago by Headbanger Records a couple of years back. I'm not even sure. But this was a really good band, and I absolutely love this demo tape. So we'll play that for everybody right now, and we'll do something after that. Then maybe do some Reign of Glory. So here you go, The Vol, Rock Started.
Got a feeling nasty down in between.
Brand new Reign of Glory, Slingshot of Faith. Let's get Jeff on the line right now. We've been having trouble with this phone network all week. I hope it works okay tonight. If not, we'll just get him on the cell phone. Have to do a, a mic to speaker connection.
Hello, this is Jeffrey.
Jeff, this is Mike. You're live on the air. How are you, my friend?
Mike Catricola, the big cheese. I'm doing fabulously. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great, but it's a play. It was 10 years ago this month, I think, that we spoke for the first time with Q5 when you called in with Rick, and we've been going back and forth over the years with all the different bands you've been in. So I'm happy to have you back on again with Reign of Glory.
So good. So good to be back. So good to be chatting with you again, my friend. It's too long a time. We need to kind of fix that. 10 years is too
Well,
long.
you just keep putting out music, and we'll just keep doing it. So that's where we'll go with
Okay,
that.
deal. I'm all over it.
Well, well, listen. I mean, this new record is just amazing. The second record by the band Slingshot. I know you weren't involved with the first one. This was Nick's thing. How did you come about Hook? I mean, you've been on and off with Nick over the years in a lot of different bands and projects. So, how did it come that you decided to join Reign of Glory?
Well, I mean, the funny thing is that I was involved in the first record, except some things happened.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I was originally contracted to do the first record, and they paid me to go in and do the tracks. And they said, they sent me demos, and they said, do whatever you want. You don't play them exactly like the demos. Just play whatever you want. Be you. Do your thing. And so I went into the studio and completed all the tracks and sent them off. And Nick said, "Yes, this is great. It's fantastic." And then they played it for the vocalist at the time, Robin Kyle Basari, and he couldn't sing them because they weren't exactly like the demos. And so they ran out of budget, and they had another drummer, a great drummer. His name's Jim Chaffin, and he happened to have his own studio and had it all set up and could do it for free for them. And he's a great drummer, so it worked out. And so they had him on the record, the first record, and he later, the singer had left because he didn't want to do anything live. And so they were looking for a singer, and then the drummer decided he didn't want to be in a band format. And so he split. And so they called me and said, "Hey, what do you think?" And I said, "Let's do it." So here we go.
Well, I'm glad that you did. Well, the other guy may have been a good drummer, but you're a phenomenal drummer. So I'm glad that you're a part of it, fully now. And going through this record, I mean, it's of biblical proportions, and I don't just mean that in size and sound. I mean, it's a very faith-based record, and that's what you've been doing a lot of lately. So when you come, when it comes to putting a band like this together and songs like this together, how do you mix and meld it where you don't want to be too preachy to people, because sometimes a lot of the Christian bands do that, and other times they don't, and they can just write a great song based around faith that just sounds phenomenal. I think you did that with this record.
Sure. Well, I appreciate that. And a lot of it was left up to Mark because Mark Bowles, of course, I'm speaking of Mark. He was the former vocalist for Yngwie Malmsteen. Some people will remember him mostly for the Trilogy record, although he was on several other records with Yngwie. We sent him the tracks. He was on a cruise. This is so crazy. He was on a cruise ship, and he recorded all of the vocals for the record in his stateroom on the cruise.
Oh man,
ridiculous!
That's a first.
Yeah, and
That's
all of these
incredible.
stories, they are from the Bible. That we are all men of faith, and they are stories from the Bible, but they're deep personal stories also to Mark. And so, it's all truth. It's all truth straight from Mark's mouth.
Well, I just think you did a tremendous job on this record. I'm looking forward to more. But now that this record is out, it came out on Rock's Records about a month ago in July, officially released.
Yep.
I mean, where do you take the band from here now? I mean, is it something that you're looking to get active on the live front where you can go out and play shows and tour, or is it maybe going to be one-offs? Because a lot of you guys are busy with a lot of other bands. I mean, you've been playing with Les for a while now, so I mean, you got that happening also.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this: the band started. Reign of Glory started as a project between Nick Layton and the former bass player Roger Dale Martin. And Roger Del Martin plays on this record. He's great. He's a great guy, a wonderful guy. We ran into some professional differences and different stages, and we just decided it would be better to move on. So we brought in Juan Van Dunk, and Juan plays with me also in the Les Carlson band. But Juan is another seasoned professional. He's played with everybody from Mother's Finest to Bernie Worrell and the Funkadelics. He played with Grandma Train, if people remember Grandma Train, kind of a hard rock faith-based band from the 90s. He also played with Danny Federici, the keyboard player from Springsteen. He's kind of been all over the map. And so we bring him in, and then we get Mark Bowles in here, and the craziest thing about all this, and I'll get to my point. I promise you, I'm getting somewhere.
It's okay.
We had never face to face. The whole band, these four guys, had never met in person. Wow. We've only met on like Zoom calls, and all the files had just gone via email and all of that. We never met in person. So we got selected to play at the Immortal Festival in Versailles, Ohio. And yes, for your listeners, it is pronounced Versailles, not Versailles.
I say Versailles too, so I'm glad you corrected it.
Oh boy, the natives will have your head if you call it Versailles. Crazy. So we get hired to play at this festival, and we'd never met before. We'd never rehearsed before, and we scheduled a rehearsal for the night before we were supposed to play. And we get in, and our singer, Mark, he gets caught in Chicago. Big shocker, right? He's caught in O'Hare Airport 16 hours before he could get to Cincinnati. Wow. So he missed the rehearsal completely. No fault of his own, but he missed the rehearsal. We had no rehearsal at all, except for the three of us kind of, the guitar, bass, and drums kind of noodled through a few things, got up on stage, and we nailed it. It's ridiculous. And so that kind of chemistry, that means that's something that we got to hold on to, and we got to do something, we have to do more stuff with. We're all very excited to keep going. And I can tell you that we will do more live shows. We're looking at more shows stateside. We're looking for shows in Europe. We have a few irons in the fire here and there. And we are already, because Nick is such a prolific writer, we are already starting work on the next record.
That's fantastic. When you talk about you guys never really met in person, you did your Zoom calls and stuff like that, and then you get together to do a rehearsal, you don't have Mark there. There's something about timing, when it comes to music and being in a band, and the singer has to be in sync with what everybody else is doing. So for him to miss it, but Mark is a professional, all you guys are, so you know how to make it work. But I think that's pretty impressive that it came off that well with not really knowing, how the guys around him are going to be playing, with them live for the first time. That's a challenge for any band, I think.
Oh, it's insane. It's insane. And we've only met him, like I said, on Zoom, so we don't know what personalities are like. We don't know how anything's going to work together. But honestly, the first time we met him when we were in the hotel and he got in at like 1 o'clock in the morning, we were immediate best friends, all of us.
Yeah.
And so when we climbed up on that stage, it was just like, we got this. It's done. It's good. And so, that's super rare in this business. I'm sure you know that.
Oh, absolutely. I was going to say, when you're up there behind the kid, everybody's in front of you, do you say to yourself, oh, here we go. Let's see how this is going to pan out? Or do you kind of have that feeling after you first start that first song, that it's going to be all right?
That's exactly right. Well, when the singer comes up and he kind of says under his breath, you're not going to hit me with drumsticks, are you? I'm like, we're good. We're good. I got this.
Oh man, that's great. Jeff, before we started talking tonight, I played Duvall, the band you were in with John Duvall from Culprit back in I think the late '80s. That was. I played it cut off that demo track, and I know that I have the Juvenile demo somewhere. I just could not find it before. I got like thousands of cassettes, and I'm trying to find it to dig it up to play a song. I know it's somewhere in my collection, but those are like two of your earliest bands. I think Juvenile and then Duvall. Back in the early to mid '80s to late '80s.
Yeah. Juvenile was 84, and 87 was Duvall.
Wow, we're getting old.
I know, right? That's why I told Mark not to worry about the drumsticks hitting him because my aim's not so good anymore.
That's true, but you know what? That DeVol stuff was so good at that time. I always felt like that should have broke so big in the late '80s because it was everything that was going on at the time combined, and it just has such a groove to it. That music, such it appealed to a large audience, in my opinion. How did you feel about that at the time?
Oh, that I was a huge Culprit fan. And John Duvall, he's such a brilliant and I say this in the most respectful way possible. He's a strange guitar player. He plays stuff
Got it.
that technically should not work, but it absolutely does work, and it's brilliant. And so, when we were writing the stuff, when it all came together, we all just kind of looked at each other like, "Wow, what is that?" You know,
Yeah.
it's and we're playing in a hair metal type scenario, and the style is somewhat hair metal, yeah, for sure, but it's odd. So I think it maybe it had the King's X effect where people just didn't know quite what to do with it.
That's true. Kings of City have that problem, and a lot of bands have. And when his time started changing too, like it says, around '87, hair metal was exploding, so everybody wanted that. And I just thought this was a great hard rock record, hard rock demo, in my opinion. And I know somebody re-released it some
I
years
love
back.
it.
I don't know if that was official or not. Yeah, it was so good. All that stuff was, and you're a man of many many talents when it comes to music. Like I said, when New World Order came out with Q5, we spoke for the first time back then, and you've been involved with, Hair Apparent, you played with them for a little bit. I think Terry wasn't in the band at that time. TKO, Nightshade, even Bloodgood, but that's how you probably hooked up with Les. But and then Firewolf, which I really was hoping that more would come out of that with you, but it didn't pan
It
out at the
will.
time, I guess. Oh man, that's great.
It's coming. Yes. Nick, like I
Good.
say, Nick is prolific, and he doesn't stop, and he's got 10 million projects. Reign of Glory being at the top of the list, but no, there's definitely some Firewolf stuff brewing.
Oh, that's gonna be great. If Nick ever left his room, like five bands would go down at one time.
He's insane. He's insane, and
Yeah.
he's so humble. He's such a sweet guy and a brilliant guitar player, and he's an entrepreneur. I mean, he's selling. He's got his guitar dojo workshop stuff that he does online, and he's just insanely busy and brilliant and wonderful. And goodness, if you're a guitar player out there and you need '80s guitar riffs and of any style, you got to check him out because he's amazing.
Yeah, and your other major commitment is playing with Les right now. Bloodgood's over and done with, and he's got his solo band going, and you're a part of that. You hooked me up with
Yeah.
Les for an interview. It was a great interview. He's such a nice guy and has so much to talk about, so much to tell. And if you think I read somewhere right, there's actually a documentary being made about him right now. Is it about Bloodgood or the whole thing together?
I know there are several projects. The only one that I actually know completely is that Chris Jericho, the famous wrestler and the singer for Fozzy, he's filming a documentary on Christian metal, and it does include Les. Les is a big part of
Oh,
it.
okay.
So he's filming a show that we're playing in August 22nd here in Seattle. That's a kind of a rare show for Les to come up here, and so Chris is going to film that show for the documentary.
Oh, that's gonna be great. Les really is the godfather of Christian metal, or I should say the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost of Christian metal. He is the guy. Like if there's a face for Christian metal, it's definitely him.
That I believe that to be true, and you see it with the fans. We've done these signings and we've done these meet and greets where the fans come up and say, "Oh, 30 years ago, you were the first to introduce me to Jesus," and people just crying, and it's amazing. It's amazing the career this guy has had.
It really, if Michael Sweet from Striper, years ago did like I'm talking like in the late '80s, early '90s, he did an interview and he was saying they were saying to him like, do you get a lot of hate from like the non-Christian metal bands because you feel like you're preaching to them? He says, no, not at all. He goes, we get it more from the Christian metal fans because they think of something different, and they get more offended
Uh,
by it. And I found that as striking when I brought it up to Les. He was like, no, he goes, I got more flack from from Christians than I did from the people that weren't. And you
sure.
have to shake your head and say, how is that possible? But it is.
Well, honestly, everybody in the world's got to have something to be mad at. And if it's
Sure.
not, especially in Christian circles, there are people that have to wear suits and ties, and anybody that wears spandex and wristbands and long hair, they must be from the devil. But that's not the truth. That's not the truth.
Not at all. When you think about it, Stripe had a bigger reach than a lot of TV preachers had over the years. Bands like that,
You're darn
especially in
right.
the '80s, were getting a message out
You're darn right.
quick and easy. I know it is, and they were reaching the right audience, a young audience. The old timers, they stay with church, they believe in it, they go. A lot of the younger people don't. They're drifting too far away. And hearing Stripe you say, "Hey, this is a 20-something-year-old guy playing heavy metal, talking about stuff that," and it turns it into a whole new audience and a whole new crowd.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and I was one of those people. I was in 1987. I was sitting in a rehearsal warehouse here in Seattle called the Music Bank, and I was the assistant manager there, sitting around with a beer in one hand, a cigarette in the other one, and Les Carlson and Dave Zafiro walked in and said, "Hey, what do you know about Jesus?" And they just started talking to me. Boom! I got right there, and I was a big fan of Stryper, and just as a hair metal guy, you know.
Yeah,
So,
incredible.
they're throwing Bibles from the stage. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. But
Yeah,
what a powerful thing. They're out there
yeah.
saying something positive to people. That's what they need. That's what those people need.
Everybody's looking for something. If that's what turns them on and gets them going, then more power to them.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Well,
Most
Jeff,
definitely.
you were so entrenched in the Washington metal scene when you think about over the years. So many bands you played from the area. Is it still vibrant today? I mean, nothing is like it was in the 80s. There's been a big comeback over the last 10, 15, maybe even 20 years, to the music that we grew up with and played, but is the scene still vital enough or vibrant enough today to keep any local bands active?
Uh, to be honest with you, the industry is so different. Everything is so different that I mean, there are certainly bands here. There are plenty of bands here, but I think they're more, the more the basement guys that are, got to have their garage band or they have their digital audio workstations at home and they're putting out music that way more so than there are, big live projects that are happening here.
Yeah.
It's not how
It's
it
like
used to
that
be.
for a lot of
Every roller rink
places.
in the town was booked up.
Yeah, it's definitely harder today. It's funny because with the internet and all the social media we have today, people think it would be so much easier, but I think it's even harder. Back then, you had a local scene. Everybody knew the clubs to go to see the local bands or bands that were coming through town that they were going to open up for, and there was a whole vibe going on where you went there. Today, it's not like that. It's completely different. I think the kids today, unfortunately, even though they get to see a lot of these bands, they're missing out on the scene itself, which was more of a part of the music than the actual music was sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, I miss the old days. I miss how vibrant it was here because it was really an explosion in Seattle. You couldn't swing a dead cat without hitting a heavy metal musician around here.
That's true. Who would you pin it on as saying these were the guys? This was the band that kind of broke the scene open for everybody else in Seattle, or in Washington State in general.
Oh goodness! I mean, you could go all the way back, all the way back. I mean, anyway to Ray Charles or Quincy Jones. I mean, you
Yeah,
had Hart, we had Jimi Hendrix, Steve Miller. You have, I mean, Queensryche for the metal guys.
yeah, that's what I meant. More of the metal and the hard rock scene from the '80s. You pin it on Queensryche as putting the Seattle on the map.
I, I would think so. I mean, they really kind of came out of nowhere and just went boom. I mean, they were huge instantly.
That's true. TKO was around it. You actually played a TKO for a while. You were with
Yeah,
TKO some
yeah,
years back for a little bit. And I remember I think there was Rail. Rail was a big band back then. A popular band back at
sure,
that
yeah.
time. You had all these great bands over there. Such a great scene. I mean, it was so vibrant. But everything changes everywhere you go. But I think about all the bands that you've been a part of. I mean, which one to you did you think was going to have the best shot of like breaking through and making it when you joined them?
Ooh, boy. Duvall was definitely one that I thought was going to do something much bigger than it did. Nightshade, could have had a much better chance if we'd have done it 5 years earlier.
Yeah, it was early '90s.
Because Yeah, I mean, right when we came out, right when our first record came out, there was we had a full page review in Kerrang magazine giving us 5 Ks, and
Wow.
the next page over was a brand new band that nobody had ever heard of called Pearl Jam, and they got 3 Ks, and we see where that's gone.
Yeah, that's true. Just think it's your fellow city men that did it to you.
Yeah. But all power to them. That's great.
Everything changes. Everything goes in cycles. That's just the way life goes. It's not just music, it's with everything. But yeah, Nightshade, the Dead of Night record, that was such a great record from 91. And like you said, it came out, and everybody thinks the stroke of midnight of 1990 or 1989, heavy metal just died. But it went on for a couple more years before it really, it took the death blow. It was like around 93. After the Black Album came out, that was it. And everything just kind of fell apart for metal.
Yeah, but the funny thing about metal, I think its strength is in the underground. So
Always
I
was.
don't think it ever died. I don't think it ever died. I think it just
No.
kind of did its thing. And yeah, you still have your Iron Maidens. Iron Maiden never left, never went anywhere. They had their ups and downs, I guess, but they certainly never died. Judas Priest never died. Ozzy never died until only recently. But
Yeah, you walked right into that one. I get that.
yeah, sorry about that. Too soon.
No, that's
We love
no,
Ozzy.
it's okay.
We love Ozzy.
Hey, listen, we're all gonna meet our maker one day. He just met his, a week or so ago. We're all gonna get there.
Yeah. Bless
Hopefully, we
him.
have a lot longer time, but we're all gonna get there. But he was
I
one. But
love Ozzy.
I listen,
He was one of those that definitely he definitely influenced me in my early years, most definitely. So
yeah. Well, I think about all the years you're playing drums. I mean, was Juvenile the first serious band that you were part of back in 1984, 85?
oh yeah, for sure, yeah, and that's I kind of took it upon myself to learn just about everything about the business, and that was really the start of learning the business side of things, the promotional side of things, and how you create a band and create a persona and create all of the promotional things that you need to do to kind of raise the awareness. So
True. What do you call it? Wasn't Tim part of that band? Tim Branham.
yes, yeah, he was our singer.
I know he went on to do something else. I can't remember what. Something that was. I'm just drawing a blank right now, but I know he went on to something else. Or got involved with
Well, I
something
mean,
else that was pretty big.
he for years. I mean, he's lived in L.A. for a long time, and he was in a band called Cloud Nine there for a while. And he tried to do a solo career. He played a show in Japan or a couple of shows in Japan, but it hasn't. He hadn't done much. And then he did land the vocalist role for Fifth Angel, but that didn't work well. He kind of blew out his voice the first day of rehearsal, and the second day they bought him a plane ticket home.
Oh God. Yeah, I remember the Fifth Angel story. I do remember Cloud Nine. I remember Gypsy Rose, and I think wasn't Sentis one of the bands too that you were part of with him? Did anything ever come of that, or
Well,
was it just
sentence
something that was in the planning
sentence
stages?
was kind of the ugly sister of Juvenile. The bass player,
Okay.
Taze Yannick, myself, and Tim had another guitar. We brought in another guitar player and a keyboard player, and the two guitar players that were with us were out. So it was basically, the ugly sister.
Got it. Now with Reign of Glory, the new record Slingshot. Like I said, what an amazing job you did on this record. The band does have 2 records under its belt right now, so you do have plenty of material to go out there and play with. And working on a new record,
Yeah.
maybe next year there'll be plenty out there. So that's always a great thing. And you've joined so many bands that have already been established, or bands you've been with from the beginning. What's the difference for you joining an established act? Do you try to recreate or capture what the original drummer of that band did, or the drummer before you? Do you have to kind of make it your own from the get go?
Well, they're with Reign of Glory particularly. Their first album got some notoriety. There are fans of the first album, and so when I played with them last year at the Immortal Festival, and not really as an official member, but sort of. And I did practice very hard to be very much like Jim Chaffin. So I did play the parts the way they are on the album. all due respect to the other drummer. And so I probably will do that. There will be some embellishments because I play the way I play, but I do want to pay respect to the original material.
Sure. Is it a slow shift where little by little you kind of change it and make it into your own? Because you do have your own style. Everybody thinks a drummer is a drummer. They all have the same beat. Every drummer has a different swing to them.
Yeah, that's true. It's absolutely true. I like I say, I don't want to mangle what he's done, but I do. Everybody's got little bells and whistles. Everybody's got their, this stroke or that stroke that'll hit a little harder here, hit a little harder there, a little, twiddly dee. And so I'll, little by little is definitely a good description. But I definitely don't want to mangle what he's done.
I mean, like we talk about lyrics before and lyrically, and Mark is taking the reins on that, and he's putting his own mark on it. Have you ever thought about a concept record telling an entire story an entire biblical story from start to finish?
Oh, I think that would be a great idea. It's
Yeah.
we haven't really discussed where we're going to go yet because this record came together and then we went and played this show and now we're kind of sitting here like. We just got all got hit with the face with wiffle ball bats, and we're kind of going, well, what just happened? So the next step, who knows what's going to happen? But I think that would be an amazing thing. I think it'd be really great because
Yeah.
for so many people, I think they're kind of intimidated by the Bible because it kind of goes in all these different directions, and it's a little hard to understand. But I would think that a concept album that really digs deep into something and describes something specific would be awesome just for people to hear this clearly.
Absolutely. And for people that feel like it's a little confusing, they should just watch The Chosen because The Chosen kind of brings it down to earth and makes it more real.
Yes, but I do have one caveat for people that do watch The Chosen in that it's not
Shoot.
100% biblically correct, but it
Yes.
really is wonderful. It really is a wonderful thing to watch. And you get to actually feel what they were feeling at that time of the when all of these things were happening. It's really affected me, and I think it's an important watch. But it's not
Yeah.
100% biblically correct. But so I would say whether you're a Christian or not, check out a Bible. Just watch The Chosen, and then just kind of go through it and just kind of say, well, that's not what that says, but this is what happened. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah, I say the same thing when I watch episodes of that. My wife's been watching it all day because the new season is on, so she's been watching it all day. But I say the same thing. But you know what? I also know it's TV. It's entertainment. It's a movie. So
Where'd
you
you
got to
go?
compact
Where'd you
things,
go?
change things around. You hear?
Did I lose
Hey
you?
Jeff, can you hear me?
You're
No,
fired.
you're still here. Uh, hey Jeff, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, yeah, I was saying it's TV, it's entertainment, so they always tinker and tamper with things to make it more appealing and to reach a broader audience. I don't take that. I don't take anything of that. I know what the real stuff is, and I just let that go.
Yeah, but it's such an important watch. It really is. I mean, because it really does give you the feelings of all the things that were happening at that time. It gives you just a real idea, at least, of why Jesus did what he did and why he acted the way he did. And how the disciples responded to everything that he was doing. It's really a great work, I think.
Yeah, it is. Only two more seasons left. Next year, we're up to the
I know,
crucifixion,
right?
so we're running out of seasons, but it is great. But Jeff, I'm gonna let you go in a few minutes because I got David Reece waiting. He's calling from Italy, and I gotta get to him
Awesome.
next. And I want to play some more Reign of Glory music. But what's next for the band? I mean, what's next in line? What do you have planned immediately that you know is gonna happen?
Well, we've regrouped now that we've gotten back from the festival, and it's time to, like I say, we've got irons in the fire, working on some shows here stateside and over in Europe, and the next record will be out sometime next year, and that's the next thing. We want to play live, more music, and that's what we're going to do. And if there's people out there that want to check us out that don't know us. And those that do know us can check us out at reignofglory.net. That's our website. And we're on Facebook as well. You can follow us there. Just check it out. And there's video clips, there's audio clips, there's anything. And the CD is available now through Rox Records, ROXX Records.com. So people can order it there if they want it. if they're overseas, it's coming out September 5th overseas and on Amazon.
Okay, great. That's fantastic. Well, Jeff, listen, you know I'm a big fan of you, your music, the band you've been a part of, Reign of Glory, and I'm a tremendous supporter, and I'll always be here for you. So when the next record comes out, you come back on again. We'll do this all over.
Mike, I am the biggest fan of you, and I have told every single person what a phenomenal person you are. So I'm grateful for you, and I know the medical community is grateful for you as well. I appreciate you so
All
much, my
right.
brother.
Thank you, my friend. You have a blessed night, and I'll talk to you real soon, buddy.
You do the same. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Take, bye bye. All right, let's get on some more Reign of Glory here. Shattered Chains. right, more new Reign of Glory with Shattered Chains. I want to thank Jeff for being on tonight's show. We're going to get to David Reece in a couple of minutes. I got to get one request in for Christian. Every week he sends me a song, and this week he wanted to hear Messiah. In the mid-'80s, just here in the U.S. alone, I think there were 3 or 4 different Messiahs. This was the one out of Detroit, Michigan. They had the Final One record in 1984, and I think that an EP coming out like right after that, maybe a year or so later. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But they were a pretty good band. Just, it was a hard time. A lot was going on musically. And when you have one band with the same name and all bands releasing records at the same time, it kind of gets hard to distinguish them apart. But I thought they were pretty good. So for Christian, let's get on Messiah, Final Warning. And then I'll tell you what, right after that, we'll go into some Accept that features David Reece. And we'll get David Reece on the line right after that.
Hello?
Hey, David, it's Mike. How are you?
Hey, ¿cómo está, amigo?
How are you, my friend?
Good. Good to hear your voice, man.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years, but man, I'm glad you're out there doing it. You're so busy. People don't realize you're like the little engine that could. Like every year, you've got something coming out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of a curse, I think. I can't seem to stop.
Please don't. I mean, look, in this business, it's good to be busy, and that people want to hear
Yeah.
you and music. It's a beautiful thing.
Yep. I don't know what I'd do otherwise.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're doing this. And, new Bangalore Choir. I mean, I'm so happy because, the last two records came out pretty close together, but the one before that, there was a good 10, 12-year wait in between. And not like you didn't have anything else out. You were busy, but it's nice when you could kind of get back to this.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a whole story behind that. Are we recording?
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, going out solo, I kind of had an epiphany last fall. I was in France. And we did really good. David Reece was promoting Baptized by Fire and good crowds. But, in the set, I was playing, you know, 50, 60% Bangalore choir on target and a couple of Eat the Heat songs and then some new songs. And it's crazy enough, everybody knew the Bangalore choir songs. So I started taking a look at branding and all that stuff. And, although that I do good solo, the name, the brand, it's really important, bro.
it
It's
is.
to be identified with. So called the management and said, hey man, I was on the way home, really thinking deep about it, going, I think I'm gonna do another Bangalore choir record, but if I do it, I've got to be as close to on target as possible. And I'm telling you, bro, that was not an easy feat, the task. I mean, I had to go back in my head, 1991. How was I thinking? What was going on musically in my head? I mean, it was tough,
Well, 30 something years ago,
but
I mean, trying to recreate that has got to be difficult. But I mean, hearing what I hear so far, I mean, I think you did a pretty good job.
thanks. Have you got Bullet Train?
I got Bullet Train, yeah.
Yeah, it's a rocker, man. I mean, there's 16 tracks on this record. There's an act one, act two. So act one is 8 songs. Of course, act two is 8 songs. And Andy Susamil and I called him when I got home and I said, I want to do this. And he's like, okay, let me start writing with you. And truthfully, the first three, four, they just weren't hitting it. I didn't feel it. So I said, let's go back and study on target. And we did. And I think like the fifth or sixth time we tried it, we started getting there. And I think I put just something together pretty special, man. I'm psyched.
I really think you said, Andy goes back with you a long time. I mean, with Bangalore Choir, he goes back, I think, the Cadence record in
Yeah.
2010. So he's got a feel for
Yeah.
what Bangalore Choir should be, even though that was a different era of the band. And I know what you're saying, going back to On Target, it had a different vibe because it was a different place and time. But, the fact that the two you can get together and not recreate it, I mean, it's a newer version of, what Bangalore Choir is, but you kind of encompass that feel, that era of what it was in the early 90s.
Yeah. I mean, you had to have big guitars, lots of vocals, lots of harmonies, positive energy. Um, but like I said, our first two or three attempts, it just wasn't clicking for me. I didn't feel it. I mean, Cadence was kind of a different animal. Kurt was involved, the original guitar player. So that was a little real. Plus, we'd played Firefest and done some shows together. But, Kurt basically just crickets. He doesn't want to tour or play live anymore. So knowing that Andy had been part of it, he got it. And then I reached out to Mario Percadani from Hardline. And Mario and I wrote three together on this record. And there's a ballad that's going to be coming out probably late fall, but I think it's the big one. And Mario and I wrote that. I did some gigs in January in Holland. Actually, it was Les Binks from Judas Priest. That was his last live gig. He
Yeah, he
played
passed
that gig.
away. Yeah.
Yeah, like I got home and I said, I'm going to send Les an email. Crickets. And the organizer wrote me a couple of days later, said, hey, man, Les died. Like, what?
Yeah.
And it was just crazy. But the guitar player that was on the stage, it's called Rock Party of the Year. So they invited like all the old Golden Earring guys, me, bunch of guys that were big in the 80s and 90s. And we basically play our songs and a lot of covers. And Les did some Judas Priest stuff, of course. But the guitar player, Marcel Singer is his name, he played like 60 songs each day.
Wow.
I mean, his fingers are flat. And I would watch this guy play going, man, this guy's good. So we wrote a song together called Sail On. It's really kind of a jump vibe, Van Halen rocking thing.
Yeah.
And I also worked with Freddie Dornberg from Axel Rudy Pell, keyboard thing I did. It's got a big Elton John vibe to it, which I wanted to kind of do.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I reached out to all the right guys. You know what I mean?
It sounds like that. I mean, Dave, if you go back to the original On Target from 1991, 1992, I mean, everybody, I mean, you were just out of Accept at that time, so people knew who you were. The other guys in the band came from other known bands. If I remember right, I mean, my mind is kind of shot these days, but 30 something years ago, Bon Jovi, I think Aldo Nova has something to do with that record. They were involved in some of the songs. Max Norman, producer,
Hmm.
who was Ozzy's producer back in the day also. I mean, it seems like
Hmm.
everything that you could possibly have going for that record was going for it. And just the timing
Hmm.
wasn't there. I mean, it was a time when everything started changing in music, not long after that. How did everything work out with all
Yeah.
those people contributing to this record?
This record
No, the original
or
on Target, the first on Target, yeah.
it was just, I had Whitesnake's management. Um, when I was in LA before Accept, I mean, I couldn't get arrested. So I knew after they kicked me into the curb that I had momentum. So I went back to LA and everybody recognized me. So, okay, put together the band. So I found John Kirk from GIT. Of course, he knew Kurt from Razormaid. And everything just fell into place. We went right into rehearsal and started writing songs. I mean, we practiced every day. A little 8-track reel to reel in the garage. It was like getting after it. And the energy was strong. And we had a record deal after 9 shows in LA. That's not, 9 days. That's like over a period. You play like once a month
Yeah.
in LA. But about the ninth show, I had an offer from every major label. And we had developed an instantaneous following. So everything fell into place. Whitesnake's management. I was at Stevie Nicks' house doing demos there. Uh, you know, you couldn't have asked for a better setup. And then you mentioned Aldo and John. Management said, hey, they got a couple tracks they want to show you. I mean, you can't go wrong. Yeah, I'll go hang out and listen to what they got. And I picked Doing the Dance. And then the bassist from Styx, I can't remember his name right now. He wrote Loaded Gun. Uh, Great song. Shouldn't have been the first single, in my opinion. And then I was introduced to Steve Plunkett from Autograph. And he's a great songwriter. So he brought in Angel in Black. So yeah, I mean, I had all the big corporate suit and tie guys telling me what hits were and what weren't, what we're going to target this market, target that market. And I didn't want to release Loaded Gun as the first single, but they fought for it. And the first week of radio ads was like 144 stations. And then we had, the MTV, Hard 30 and all that. But a little band out of Seattle kind of changed the whole
Yeah.
world about 2 weeks later. So you go from being on top of the volcano to, burning in the lava, 2 months later. I mean, everybody got dropped.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Everybody. Yep. It was a hard
I mean,
time for bands.
I was in a barbecue party thing and I was standing in the kitchen and I remember Piercy was there, a bunch of guys. And Janie Lane was standing close to me and I didn't recognize him. He was having a hard time in those days. And I go, who's that guy? And like my friend goes, hey, dumbass, that's Janie Lane. I went, oh my God. But even he basically all came together and said, we better write a grunge record. So the fans know I did Circle of Silence with Greg Chason from Badlands. And, the audience knows if it's real or. So it didn't work. But those were really bizarre times. But I do know that Bangalore Choir were really big in Europe and the UK. And had I known that, instead of being told, hey, go start painting houses again, I would have flown over here and kept playing because grunge didn't really touch this part of the world till maybe a year and a half, 2 years later.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
You
true. And
know,
people don't realize that over in Europe, a lot of stuff stood the same. It didn't really change much, and they still believed it. But we had no
right.
internet back then. We had no way of contact or connecting with people over there to know. We can only do what we know over here. And when you talk about On
Yeah.
Target and all those people that were involved in that record, now you put this band together. You got all top-notch musicians in the group, yourself included. You all know how to write music and songs and everything. Now they're going to bring in outside songwriters to contribute with you because they say, hey, this is what we need to do to get you to the next level, to get that radio play. Is it difficult to accept other people, no matter who they? I mean, Bon Jovi was huge at the time. Aldonova had big hits. Max Norman was well known as a producer. But was it difficult to accept these people coming into a band that you just started, and you knew that you had the talent to do everything on your own? But in a way, you say to yourselves, maybe we should do this because it can get us to that level. Then we'll take it from there. I mean, is it a hard thing to take it in?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, Kurt Mitchell, number one. I mean, he such a gifted guy. I mean, we had All or Nothing, Freight Train, She Can't Stop, Slipping Away. And he's like, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? I hate this song, Loaded Gun. I am not going to play that. And, all the corporate guys going, you will play this. It's a hit. You need a hit. And he really, he really struggled with that, the business side of it. And I, didn't want to lose my position. So I played the game. But I think looking back, Curtis was right in many ways. Because I play Loaded Gun live now. People don't respond to it. It's a hard song to sing, number one.
Yeah.
But it really doesn't grab them like, say, All or Nothing and Angel in Black. And, when you're a guy like Kurt, there's ego involved. Like, hey, man, I can write those songs. So, yeah, it was definitely a pinching point for some of the guys. The corporate thing for those guys, they didn't want to play it. And whether people know it or not, it's a business.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? That's why Accept hired me. They could only get so far with Udo. So let's get a blonde-haired American guy and cross over and hit it with the States. That was the whole intention. They hired me for that purpose. It failed because over here, Udo, who's still going strong to this day, is one of them. And they're not like America, here today, gone later today. They'll stay with you through thick and thin, a couple of shit records, and then you come out with a strong one. The fans don't abandon you.
Yeah,
You
that's
know what I
true.
mean?
Yeah, that's the problem we have over here in this country is that everything is old news the
Yeah,
next day and it doesn't work. And when
yeah.
you think about your whole career in music, all these decades, I mean, there were bands that you formed from the beginning and were there from the very start. There were bands that you joined that were already established. I mean, when you form a band, do you say to yourself, "I think this is the one. I think this is the one that's going to break big," or "I think we got something here," or is it the ones that you don't feel
Mhm.
really comfortable with that are the ones that surprise you the most? Because I remember one of the last times we talked, you mentioned to me, you said, I got this thing going on, or it's going to be called, Iron Allies and blah, blah, blah. And then it comes out and it's just like, it took off. I mean, everybody wanted to hear this. Everybody was playing it. And do you ever really feel like you know what's going to hit or not hit?
No, I knew the collaboration with Herman Frank was a good move. Two ex-Accept guys, kind of the black sheep of the band. I knew it was a smart business move, but the thing about Accept, so much negativity had gone through those band members that I think it left a, a legacy of negativity where everybody's a little bit on the cautious side. Nobody trusts anybody. Everybody's nervous. You know what I mean? They don't know if you know what I'm saying? It's just,
Yeah.
there's always tension. So I'm very proud of that record, but it was just kind of an uphill battle with him. We played Grass Pop last year, a lot of big festivals, and people went crazy with the record. Is one of my best-selling records of my life. But I knew when I heard the first riffs that he was sending me that I could sing to it. It would be really good. But it didn't work out personally. I mean, I don't dislike the guy or anything. It just wasn't clicking.
Yeah.
But like, say, a Bonfire, I was kind of sitting at home doing other people's records for a while. And when Ziller contacted me to do Easy Living, he said, yeah, I got all these shows. I said, listen, don't blow smoke, dude. Everybody says that. He goes, no, I got 10 gigs right now. Can you come over and play them? I'm like, yeah. So like a week later, I was on an airplane, played 10, went back to Montana, called me again. He's got 10 more. And then his whole idea is to get rid of Klaus and uh, take over the Bonfire moniker and asked me to be the singer. Really bad management, bad business deals going on. But we played, 180 gigs a year. So it was smart in that sense. I was doing a lot of Klaus's songs. My record, Glorious, was one of their best records sales that they'd ever had. We were right there next to that Coverdale Purple album. I mean, we're in the charts just right behind them constantly. And then the next year we did like 100 and something gigs, and then it kind of trickled down, and then the internal stuff starts, and you know, so I felt part of it in the beginning, but no, at the end, no. So this kind of goes full circle, right? I wanted to be solo because I'm tired of being in people's bands. Because you never, even though they say we're a team, it's not true, Mike. It's never a democracy. You know what I mean? It's
Yep.
it's a lie. You're dealing with egos. You're dealing with, crazy people that are creative, and I'm one of them. So, but I realized my band was Bangalore Choir. I formed that band. I named that band. I brought that band to the heights that it got to with all the business and everything that I was working. And I said, you know what? These songs, when I play them live, people know them. It's what they expect of me. I can sing really heavy, but deep down in my roots, I'm a hard rock singer, Mike. I'm
Yes,
not a
you
metal
are.
singer. That's what I am. I mean, I listen to Greg Allman. I listen to Paul Rogers. I listen to Tom Petty. I listen to Blackberry Smoke. I don't follow the metal trends. I went to see Priest the other night. My good friend Giles Lavery is singing for Warlord. They opened. It was great. I mean, I love Halford, but I'm not Rob Halford. And when I decided to do this, management and everybody took this really deep sigh of relief. They go, now we can market this thing. Go back to your roots, be David Reece. And that's what I'm doing.
I agree with you, but you know what? When you think about all your solo stuff that you've put out, especially like over the last 5 years, going back to Cacophony of Souls and Blacklist Utopia and Enemy is Mine and Baptized by Fire, even though Enemy of Mine was a single and Enemy is Me is a single. I mean, they've been incredible songs, incredible albums. I mean, you've delivered on every
Yeah.
single one of them. And to me, each of those albums kind of captures everything that you've done musically over the last 30, 40 years. You can hear a little bit of everything in those songs. There's nothing so distinctive that it's like, this is a heavy metal record. It's a little bit of everything in the rock vein. And I think that's what you do best.
Thanks.
And Bangalore Choir, I mean, the new record is 16 songs. I mean, that's unbelievable.
Well, there were 24 plus.
Oh, there's another
I've
record
got
there.
probably, yeah, I'm probably sitting on, 8 songs right now that I wanted to put on the record. I mean, we went into a frenzy. Once it starts happening, it's like raindrops. You're running in between them. When the thing starts to click and you go, okay, this is where it's going. Excuse me. You just keep them coming. You know what I mean? It was like a frenzy, about 2 or 3 months of writing and recording and yeah, of course I'm going to sound like Dave on all those records you mentioned because I am Dave. But I did step out of the box and go, I'm going to try this because I got into a Chris Cornell thing for a long time. I mean, I'd seen him live and I was blown away, but that was when the grunge thing kind of took everybody's life away.
Yeah.
But in the last 5 years, my family are big fans of Nirvana, Soundgarden, Audioslave, and I hear it a lot. And those young guys that I play with, that's what they listen to. So they kind of write like that. And we were throwing in some Chris Cornell songs in our set, and people will go nuts. I mean, I can't sing like that. I mean, I can hit the notes, but I can't present a song like Cornell would on his stuff. I mean, the guy is amazing. But yeah, I mean, Cacophony of Souls seems to be like a crowd favorite. You know what I mean? A lot of people, when I play shows, have that record and want me to sign it. They always talk about it. Blacklist, not as much. Resilient Heart did fairly well. Um, Baptized did really well. I mean, it was number one in Germany for like a month.
I thought that was a strong
Enemy is
record.
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, those guys are great. And matter of fact, the bass player and drummer are on this record and doing the shows with me this fall. So, I mean, you gotta have a rhythm section that drives nails. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
And they,
Ricardo and
yeah,
Giovanni were playing. You also got Eric and Diego on this record from Warlord.
yeah,
They've been
yep.
playing with Warlord recently, and I noticed that you're right. The new record is going to come out on Brave Words Records, a pretty new label, just established about a year or so ago. They've put this team together. Giles is a main part of that. And he produced this record with you, and they've got like the in-house plays that are they play with each other. Warlord guys play with Alcatraz guys play with this band. And it reminds me of the old Wrecking Crew days where, they went into the studio, you
Mm,
had those same guys contribute every record. And I kind of like that in a way because you get to know who all these people are. They were small plays. Now they're on every record. You get to know them better. You realize what they're capable of. And you've got a lot of them on there
mm.
as well as Andy.
Yeah. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
I mean, and over the years, you build relationships. You weed out the ones that aren't real, and you know the people you can call and count on. And Giles has been a great friend of mine for many years. I mean, I had offers from other labels, but I'd heard what he was doing with Brave Words, and he said, "Hey, man, it's going to be this budget. It's going to be this, but I guarantee you, we will push the record." And Brave Words is really pushing us.
Yeah.
So I think I made the right choice. And excuse me, you are right though. I mean, Jimmy Waldo jumps in, plays a lot of keys. Zandra will play drums on stuff. Um, Eric and Diego, I kind of wanted to branch out. Andy did a lot of the solos on this record. Eric did a couple. Marcel did one. Um, Mario Piccadani did a few. But I wanted that good guitar team rhythm section. And I've seen Eric and Diego play a few gigs with Warlord, and they just work great together. They love each other. They play well together. They're nice people, and they've been around the world. They've been everywhere. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to have them play all the rhythm tracks, and I'll do three from this guy and three from this guy, and then we'll put them all together on each track, and then we'll pan them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why you get that real punchy 70s, 80s kind of old traditional rock rhythm sound. And then I asked Eric to branch out and play solos on a couple of slow ones, which he did a great job on. I'm excited about it because we're going on tour in October, and they're my guitar team. And then we're going out with Alcatraz and Girls School in November into December. And yeah, it's like a family. Everybody knows each other.
That's important. I mean, are the plays on the record going to be the live band also, or do you have to make some changes?
I'm going to keep, Ricardo and Nalo from my solo
Yeah.
band. They're playing bass and drums. Eric and Diego will do all rhythm and leads. Andy and I are going to do some acoustic shows that I forgot to bring up. But next year, I've got a pretty solid schedule getting filled up, and I'm playing some big festivals. So I invited Andy to join me on stage for those. I told Eric and Diego, I don't know which one of you will play, but Andy's going to come and do all the leads on a couple of those gigs. But yeah, Eric and Diego will be my guitarists. And of course, if Warlord's got something come up, I've got to reach out and get some other guys. That's their priority.
Yeah,
But
that's one of the problems
I
when you
think,
play with guys, multiple bands that, it's a lot of
yeah,
schedules to juggle. It's hard.
yeah. I mean, I just happen to have a lucky pocket of availability and to showcase the record. It comes out, I think, the 24th of October, and we start the 29th in France.
Oh, it's going to be
So it's
great.
perfect.
You got to
Yeah,
focus on the
man.
new record during that tour?
Yeah, I'm gonna probably play four or five. I'm gonna film the ballad I mentioned earlier. It's called "I Never Meant to," that I wrote with Mario Percadani. I found some really cool French locations. I'm gonna do a black and white video, and we're gonna film audience and everything like that. Because I don't know, believe it or not, I had never played France in my career. I've skirted around it for 20 years, but last year was my first time there, and the places are full, man. They know who I am. And I'm like, okay. So these gigs will be great to kick it off, and then going out with Alcatraz and Girls School, that's going to be really good.
Yeah, great lineup on that
Um,
show.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to do well, I think. I mean, everybody knows girls' school, and God bless those women, and they're kind of the girls that really kicked it off. Then you had the Runaways and bands like that. But I just saw them open for Saxon, dude. They kicked ass.
Yeah, they're still out there doing it. I mean, and it's most of that original
Yeah,
lineup too. A lot of the original, girls that were in that original lineup are still
yeah,
playing.
yeah. I mean, I think this is their 50th year.
Wow. I'm really feeling
Yeah,
old
I mean,
now.
they were. Yeah, me too. I
Uh,
mean, they were on tour with Motorhead forever, in Europe back in the 80s. Forever.
yeah,
I
well, Lemmy
mean,
produced
Lemmy,
them also. Yeah, he produced some of their
yeah,
stuff. And he played on some of their stuff.
yeah,
It was
he
that
loved
time.
it.
I mean, how do you look? I mean, it's a completely different business today than it was when you first got into it. I mean, I think the artists are more in control today, but there's less input from the labels, or less, I should say, financial support from the labels as there used to be, and things like that. But do you prefer it the way it is now, where you have really complete control of everything you want to do? So if something doesn't go right, there's nobody else to blame but yourself. If it goes well, you can say, "Hey, I made that happen."
Mm, I like it, but I don't like it because I do a million emails a day. Um, and the way I think managers don't always react as quickly as I want. So I struggle with that.
Yeah.
Um, agencies getting back to you, say, hey, we really want this show, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm available. And 3 days later, no commitment. Then you write them back and they said, yeah, 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 yeah. That kind of stuff drives me nuts. But I can follow through now, whereas I relied completely in the old days on somebody else to do it. And then they always lie when they screw up. Nobody wants to own anything. So if I mess up, I have to own it. Yeah, I like that. But it's a lot easier to say, no, I don't like that idea now than it was in the old days because it was corporate. It was a huge machine. And you didn't rock the boat, man. If you did, they just throw you under the bus.
True.
So they kind of had you living in fear. It was weird. Unless you sold, 5 million records, then they'd kiss your ass. You know what I mean?
Is the
I
music
mean,
business like the
okay.
mafia, where you can't trust nobody? Don't turn your back on
It
anything?
is. Yeah, it really is. Even bands, everybody claims to be, one for all that stuff. But, it comes down to money. Because you got to ask a person to go into rehearsal, leave their safe space, learn all your material, get in a van, go to a silly airport, and after 3 or 4 days of that, say you got some slug gigs, it starts to wear on people. You learn a lot about men when you're stuck with them 24/7. You don't see them when the doors close at their house, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's
You see
true.
them at rehearsal, and then you get in a bus with them or a van, and your traveling schedules and sleep schedules and party schedules, all that stuff. Yeah, you got to be patient, man, because we're all human beings. I'm an early guy. Some of the guys in the band sleep till 12. But when you're on tour, lobby call is say 7:45. You got an 8-hour drive. If you don't leave at 7:45, you hit traffic jams and you don't get sound check, and then that chaos begins. Um, right now, the some of the changes that I'm experiencing are the visa issues are getting really bad for bands. You've probably seen all the cancellations every week.
I just got
You
I just got announced from the band Burning Witches. They had to cancel coming to here for the tour until next year because the visas were delayed and held up. The U.S. is getting horrible with that right now, and the price. I mean, we're hearing that's like 15, 20 grand. I mean, to come over, it's crazy.
Yeah, and you can cross all the T's and dot all the I's, get your visa approval, schedule everything, and it's like I said about people. You can go through customs, and if that person behind the glass is in a shit mood, they can just say not accepted and send you home.
Yeah.
Uh, but you're right. People that are paying the visas are doing it like 6 months, 9 months in advance. And you book tours typically 6 months in advance, right? You start scheduling that 6 months later thing. So you get all your ducks in a row And if the government doesn't process your paperwork, you ain't leaving. It's hard.
At that point in the game, I mean, does the band lose money? Is there any money involved at that point where the band loses out when it has to get canceled or postponed?
Oh yeah.
Shit, that's not worth it.
If you make money, you're doing better than most. Now there are some super group packages that have private airplanes or a rich guy in the band that fly to each game, and it works. But if you're a touring artist like myself, you really rely on merchandise. And let's face it, everything is economy based, right? So if a band's playing on a Monday night, that guy's got to get up on Tuesday and go to work. Yeah.
True.
So he comes to see your band, and you've got two opening bands that are from the region. And it's 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. He's back on the road, driving home, gets a couple hours sleep. He's dog shit the next day. He spent $150 out of a salary that he barely survives on. They're pretty picky about where they spend their money
Yeah.
these days. And that's why festivals in Europe do really well, because it's like a pilgrimage. Because in Europe, they get like a 30-day holiday every year from their companies. So, and they're kind of scheduled them around the festivals. Bucket is sold out 3 years in advance, and nobody knows who's headlining next year.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, so it's a $200 or $300 ticket. You can camp out, drink all your beer, see all the friends from the year before. Whereas a honky tonk, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday night, I can actually do pretty well in them. But I know a lot of guys that they just focus on Thursday, maybe, but definitely Friday, Saturday,
Yeah.
because gas, their day job, the pay of the gig. Are they going to give you hotel rooms? Some of them don't do that now. So you gotta, you're juggling like alley cats, man, with bare arms. You know what I mean? So it's hard on everyone. And those visas, like you said, I've heard prices as high as 3,000 to 4,000 per person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now you got 5 people in the band. Do the math. Then you got 2 backliners, right? And you got to pay your commission on each gig. Got to pay for the flights. You're looking 20, 30 grand just to leave your country.
Yeah.
I don't know
how they could do it. I don't know how.
Exactly. It's basically to keep the band in the public eye, hope to sell merchandise and build your following. Shinedown was coming here last year, I think. They had a big European tour booked, and they were in the UK and announced they can't afford to come to Europe. It just was too expensive.
Yeah.
And they went home. And those guys are selling 20,000 tickets.
It makes you wonder where everything's going.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, if you're a creative person like you or me, we love what we do. Do we surrender? No.
No, keep going.
Not me. What's the point? I mean, why make a record if you don't believe in it and feel there's some hope and faith that, people are going to take onto it, which they are with Bullet Train. It's been a great response, bro. I mean, they're playing the heck out of it.
It's a killer song.
So,
I mean, to me, it's like, they don't say lightning strikes the same place twice, but I think you did it with this record. I mean, you recaptured an era and a time, but yet you kept it fresh. And I know people hate the word modern, but it's new, so it's modern. But I just think you've managed to meld both worlds together.
It wasn't easy, bro. I mean, we've got one coming out after this. Well, the video for Bullet Train, the official, will come out August 8th. There is a video for it. And then the second single is called Driver's Seat. And it's very on target as well. It's Slipping Away, that kind of rock song. And it's a freedom song. You know what I mean? Cut loose and get in the driver's seat. And then I mentioned the third one, that the single will be called I Never Meant To, which is about my kids being a young dad, the trials and tribulations of family, having daughters. It's not easy.
I know that with daughters. You have to tell me.
Yeah. I mean, it's they're all grown now, but there's a lot of things I wanted to say in that song, and it's weird. It just kind of came out, and I hope that's my crossover where I'm not just restricted to like metal stations. You know what I mean? It's actually got a kind of a Toto vibe, a hard rock Toto vibe to it, believe it or not.
Well, isn't the goal of putting out
Which,
music to get radio play, to get on the radio, make people hear your songs and your music?
yeah,
I don't care if it's metal,
but
hard
they're,
rock, jazz. The only way people hear it is if it's played by other people on the radio station. So that is the goal. And if it's not friendly enough to be heard on the
yeah,
radio, you don't stand a chance.
no, but what radio is really left? I mean,
Not
serious,
much. Yeah,
all
that's it.
the, yeah. So I'm, when you ask me what it's like to be more in control, God bless guys like you and the others that have their, internet stations and podcasts and radio stations that are sitting in their house playing bands that you never heard, right? And putting that support out there. Because if you listen to classic rock, it's basically a loop of the same CD 24 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Sweet Child of Mine, Welcome to the Jungle,
Yep.
Journey song. I mean, it's all day long. The Doobie Brothers. I mean, come on, Bad Company. But that's what the advertisers want you to play. So if you want to keep your real radio station on board, you play what they put their money into to advertise their product,
Yeah.
right? That's your target market. You want to sell Nikes, play this song, right? So, yeah, but I mean, the realm we live in, it's not dead. I mean, sales are down, physical. Yeah, that's hard to deal with. But in merchandise, if I have CDs on the desk, I've got T-shirts and new designs. People buy it. They reach in their pocket. It's honor. It's an honorable thing. And if they bring a bag full of your past work, I mean, it's like, you know that record? And they're like, man, I love this record. Wow. Sometimes I forget that I did that record, and I see it and I go, oh man, you got that? They go, oh, I love it.
I was
Will you
on
sign
that.
it? Yeah. Yeah. I wrote that record. Wow. I forgot about it,
Yeah. But you've given us a ton of great stuff over today. We only got like a minute left, I think, up here. 2 minutes left. They only give you 43 minutes
Okay.
here on Zoom. So we're going to have to wrap this up in
Yeah.
about a minute. But I mean, listen, I've always been a big fan of yours, going back many, many decades now. I've played the hell out of your music on my show year after year, album after album.
Thank
And,
you.
and it's going to be the same thing with this Bangalore Choir. But listen, I know the visa issue was tough, but we got to figure out a way of getting you back here to the States because I have to see
Working
you
on it
live.
right now.
Oh, my God.
I'm
Well,
working on it right now.
I don't want to jinx
I
it or
got
say
I got
anything.
some I got some US agents I'm talking to. If I do come over, I'll use American players. That's the only way it's going to work. But I do
Yeah.
have the Southwest cooking right now, and I'm trying to work through the Philly area and New York, actually. I'm talking to some guys this week, so fingers crossed, bro.
I hope that it works. But the new record, what's the official release date? It's on Brave Words October, what, 22nd, 23rd?
I think 22nd to the 24th, somewhere in that area. I thought it was September, but I've been reading. It looks like October. Keep your ears open. Follow me on Instagram. Go to Bands in Town. See the shows that I've got, the tours that I've got. I'm really active. Come see me. Say hello. I always respond.
You know they will, and I will too, Dave. Rapid Fire Succession, On Target Part 2. I don't think the title could be any longer, but it's a great one. And you did an amazing job on this album, my friend, like always. And I
Thank
can't
you,
wait to
brother.
see you live.
Thank you.
It's great to talk to you, David.
Okay. I love you, man. Thank you for everything.
You too, buddy. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Time flies by and I remain lost in thought but not in name.
new Bangalore Choir with Bullet Train. It's going to be a great record. David definitely recaptured that classic sound of the band. I want to thank Jeff and Dave for being on tonight's show. I always have a great time talking to these two guys, and it's my honor and pleasure to have them on here year after year when they keep putting out new music. Next week, who do we got on the show? I'm actually leaving for vacation the day after tomorrow. I'll be back Sunday afternoon right before showtime. We have Steve Grice and John Fifield from Insult and Gus Pine from Sacrifice. We got another great show lined up for you next Sunday night. Don't forget to tune in. Thank everybody for listening. I appreciate it. Let's wrap it up with one more tune before we say goodnight. How about Atlantis, System Twister? Take care, everybody. Have a great week, and I'll see you next Sunday.